Star Trek's Mirror Universe fully explained. The Mirror Universe is one of Star Trek's most intriguing concepts, with its own rich and fascinating history. Introduced in Star Trek, the original series Season 2, the Mirror Universe has been used sparingly so that each appearance is an event. The alternate reality where nearly every beloved Star Trek character is the opposite of who they are in Star Trek's Prime Universe spans 5 TV series, TOS, Star Trek Deep Space Nine, Star Trek Enterprise, Star Trek Discovery, and Star Trek Prodigy. The Mirror Universe is also very different from the Kelvin timeline of J.J. Abrams' Star Trek movies, which diverges from the Prime timeline at a fixed point in the 23rd century. The history of Star Trek's Mirror Universe unfolds confusingly. After its lone 23rd century Star Trek TOS episode, Mirror, Mirror, Star Trek Deep Space Nine picked up the Mirror Universe's story in the 24th century. Star Trek Enterprise then jumped backward 200 years with a 22nd century prequel tale. Star Trek Discovery Season 1 returned to the Mirror Universe in the 23rd century, a decade before TOS, before it jumped to the 32nd century and filled in some details of what became of the Mirror Universe in the last 800 years. Finally, Star Trek Prodigy Season 2 updated the state of the Mirror Universe after DS9. For clarity's sake, here is what happened in the Mirror Universe chronologically from before first contact with the Vulcans to what is known about the alternate reality in the 32nd century. Star Trek's Mirror Universe runs parallel to the Prime Universes because both realities coexist in the same space but in different dimensional planes. The variances between people from the Prime and Mirror Universes are primarily cultural, with Mirror counterparts hewing towards malevolence and bigotry. However, there is also at least one distinct physical difference between the two universes. In Star Trek Discovery Season 1, Michael Burnham, Sonequa Martin Green, noticed that the cosmos has lost its brilliancy in the alternate reality. Burnham didn't just mean metaphorically the mirror version of Captain Gabriel Lorca, Jason Isaacs, needed eye drops due to his photosensitivity to the light in the Prime Universe. In Star Trek's Mirror Universe, instead of the United Federation of Planets, humanity formed the Terran Empire and successfully conquered the Alpha Quadrant in the 22nd and 23rd centuries. The Federation and the Terran Empire know of each other's existence, but suppress this information to prevent further crossovers. The Mirror Universe's Terran Empire was ruled by an emperor. While Federation starships are designated USS, in the Mirror Universe, Terran vessels carry the designation ISS, Imperial Starship. However, the Terran Empire collapsed by the 24th century and was overrun by their enemies, the Klingons and the Cardassians, which formed an alliance along with other worlds like Bajor. On the Mirror Universe's Earth, history unfolded in a mostly identical fashion as in Star Trek's Prime Universe, except the human race embraced war and fascism as a means to solve problems. Mirror Earth's history involved nations going to war, with the strong overcoming the weak, until the pivotal date of April 5, 2063. This was the day of first contact with the Vulcans, who landed in Bozeman, Montana, after Zephram Cochrane, James Cromwell, became the first human to achieve warp flight. The Mirror Universe is one of the most fascinating and enduring concepts within the expansive Star Trek franchise, offering a darker, twisted reflection of the utopian ideals that define the Prime Universe of the Federation. First introduced in the original series episode Mirror, Mirror in 1967, the Mirror Universe has been revisited in multiple Star Trek series, including Deep Space Nine, Enterprise, and Discovery. The Mirror Universe not only expands on the moral and philosophical dimensions of the Star Trek mythos, but also serves as a thrilling narrative device to explore alternate versions of beloved characters and their world. What is the Mirror Universe? The Mirror Universe is a parallel dimension where the moral compass of its inhabitants is reversed, and the principles of cooperation and peaceful coexistence are replaced by authoritarianism, conquest, and brutality. In contrast to the enlightened and peaceful United Federation of Planets, which represents the ideals of hope, exploration, and egalitarianism, the Mirror Universe features the Terran Empire, a militaristic, xenophobic regime that dominates much of the galaxy through fear, oppression, and ruthless ambition. The Mirror Universe mirrors its Prime counterpart, but with stark differences in the values, personalities, and power structures of its people. Here, Starfleet officers are backstabbing and power-hungry, alliances are forged out of convenience or manipulation, and survival often depends on one's ability to outmaneuver their peers. The idea of a utopian society is replaced by a Darwinian system of dominance, where violence and betrayal are common tools for advancement. Origins: Mirror, Mirror to us. The Mirror Universe first appears in the original Star Trek series episode Mirror, Mirror. In this iconic episode, Captain James T. Kirk, along with Dr. McCoy, Uhura, and Scotty, are accidentally transported into the Mirror Universe during a transporter malfunction. They find themselves aboard the I.S. Enterprise, where they encounter brutal and unscrupulous versions of their crew members. In this universe, Starfleet is part of the Terran Empire, an authoritarian regime built on conquest and terror rather than exploration and diplomacy. Kirk's counterpart, known as Mirror Kirk, is a ruthless, tyrannical figure, while Spock, although still logical, has been shaped by his environment and serves as the calculating second-in-command who values survival over principle. The episode plays with the duality of the characters, illustrating how context and environment shape identity. While Kirk uses diplomacy and reasoning to command in the Prime Universe, his Mirror counterpart relies on fear and violence. The introduction of the Mirror Universe serves a dual purpose. It offers a thrilling what-if scenario while also posing a deeper question about the nature of morality. Are people inherently good or evil, or are they shaped by the society in which they live? The Mirror Universe is the dark shadow of the Prime Universe, a place where humanity's worst instincts are unleashed in stark contrast to Gene Roddenberry's optimistic vision. Deep Space Nine, the expanded Mirror Universe. While the concept of the Mirror Universe lay dormant after its debut in the original series, it was revived and significantly expanded in Star Trek Deep Space Nine, DS9. In DS9, the Mirror Universe appears in 5 episodes, starting with crossover in the 2nd season. In DS9, the Mirror Universe is revealed to have evolved drastically since the time of Kirk's visit. By the 24th century, the Terran Empire has fallen. In DS9's Mirror Universe, the oppressed races, including the Klingons, Cardassians, and Bajorans, have risen to power as the Klingon-Cardassian alliance, enslaving the once dominant Terrans. This shift flips the previous dynamic on its head. Terrans are now the subjugated underclass, and the brutal leaders of the Alliance dominate through oppression and fear. The DS9 Mirror episodes focus heavily on Major Kira Neri's Mirror counterpart, known as the Intendant, who is a manipulative and self-serving ruler with little regard for human life. In contrast, characters like Mirror Cisco are more pragmatic, resisting the Alliance in a desperate bid for freedom. Through these episodes, Deep Space Nine explores themes of rebellion, loyalty, and the consequences of imperialism. One of the key ideas explored in the DS9 Mirror Universe arc is the cycle of power and oppression. Just as the Terrans once ruled the galaxy with an iron fist, they now suffer under the same tyranny they once imposed. The Mirror Universe in DS9 is thus a cautionary tale about the dangers of unchecked power and the inevitable fall of empires that are built on fear and violence. Star Trek Enterprise, the Terran Empire's Rise. Star Trek Enterprise dives further back in time, exploring the early days of the Mirror Universe in a 2-part episode titled In a Mirror Darkly. Set during the 22nd century, this arc explores the rise of the Terran Empire and its early encounters with alien species like the Vulcans and Tholians. In these episodes, the crew of the I.S. Enterprise NX-01, led by the ambitious and